Oh mate, I'm tight as. There's nothing but spiders and cobwebs in my wallet. Guys, MiracleMAX here. The goal of this new series is to put the money back in your wallet with some basic maintenance and repair tips for your vehicle. The other night I watched a movie in which a group of 18-year-olds were heading off on a road trip. They were in a real rush. Problem being is they were stopped by a simple flat tyre. None of them had the skills to change a tyre. So for today's money-saving tip, number one is how to change a tyre. You know, changing a tyre is not that hard, and at the end of this video you should be able to change one with confidence. Generally speaking, you'll find the equipment that you need in the boot of the car. For instance, you may find a little package like that, and inside that you will find a tool to use to adjust the jack with, and also some form of a spanner or a wrench that will help you to undo the nuts necessary to remove and replace the tyre. Also, you might find a jack of some description, and I'll show you how to use this effectively and safely. First things first, we need to stop the vehicle from moving while we're working on it. We need to chock or hold the wheel that is the opposite end of the vehicle that we're working on. For instance, I'm going to undo the front wheel here, and so I need to chock the back wheel. I've also got the handbrake on. So I need, if you're on the side of the road, grab a couple of lumps of wood that you might find, but here I'll just use a brick at the front and also a brick at the back. There's no way that that vehicle will move now while I remove the wheel. There are two types of wheels on vehicles, the mag type, which is this type, and also there's a rim type. The rim type may have what's called a hubcap that covers the rim itself. In this case we don't have to worry about it, but if we did happen to have a hubcap, we would need to, it's only a plastic cover, we would carefully get in behind there, flick it out, and we can pull it off, and that will leave the nuts exposed for us to work on. In this case it's a mag, so it's not a problem. The next tool that we need to use is this fella here. It's called a wheel wrench. In some cases you may find a wheel brace in the back of your car. They do the same job, but I'll use what was supplied with the car, which was the wrench here. So first things first, generally speaking you'll find, or 99% of the time you'll find what's called a right hand nut, which means that you tighten it, you go to the clockwise, and if you undo it you go anti-clockwise. The way I remember it is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, okay? So we're going like this. And you might think, particularly if you're a lady that's not really muscular, you might say, well, there's no way that I can undo it. But there is a simple way. You just stand on it. Simple as that. And it's a good idea to go in a star pattern. We go opposite to one another. Now the goal is not to undo the wheel here, but simply to loosen the nuts. So we don't take the nuts off at this point, we simply loosen them, as you can see here. Okay, next step. I'm now under the front section of the driver's door. Just pan out there, there's my driver's door. And I come right down to what's called the seal panel. Notice these two little cutaways here, here and here. This is where there's what's called a double panel. This is where the strength is for the actual jack to be fitted. So we can, in fact, see the jack there. Where is it? There. Okay. And you can see there's a little groove cut in it here. So all I have to do is wind this up to meet those two cutaway sections. Strange design with these tools that they've supplied in the kit. This one has a screwdriver end on it, and that was to remove the hubcap. But notice this one here, we've actually got this is our wrench of course, and this has got a cutaway in here. The reason they do that is because this fella here, the hook on it, goes through this hole here, and then this is used as leverage. So I can actually lift the whole car just by that. Doing this, just make sure that the jack doesn't slip at all and it doesn't tilt or anything like that. Always change a wheel on flat level ground. We can now see that our wheel is off the ground. Okay, next step. When changing a tyre, make sure that you never ever get underneath the car while the wheel is off. It's also a good idea, if you happen to be changing it with a spare, is to actually put your wheel underneath the vehicle. So if it does drop, it'll fall on the wheel. I'll show you what I mean. We can always put the wheel back under here where the jack is. If it falls from the jack, then we'll be able to support it by the wheel. That's a safety tip there. Okay, so let's just assume that we've changed our tyre. We've now got the tyre out of the boot as a spare. We want to put it back on. So all we do is basically in reverse. Make sure you line up the studs with the holes. Start at the top. Make sure that you put it on by hand. Go to the opposite side. Put it on by hand. Notice I'm going clockwise to tighten it. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. And the other one's there. And back to our wheel brace. The goal is not to overly tighten it this time, and notice the pattern that I'm using. I'm going crossways. It's called the star pattern. So we go opposite to each of the nut that we tighten, and this helps pull the wheel on evenly. There we go. That's now safe enough to drop on the ground. Undo our jack, lower the car back down onto the ground. Now once again you're probably thinking, well, how tight do I do them? I really don't know. So the best thing to do is just nip them up like that in that pattern opposite the nuts, and then perhaps without putting too much weight on them, just gently push down with your foot. They don't have to be overly tight, but at the same time they have to be tight enough. So the next step is to put all your tools back where they belong in the boot. Keep in mind, if you do have a flat tyre, make sure that you get the tyre repaired as soon as you get home. And finally, don't forget to remove your wheel chocks so that you can head off down the road safely. So guys, I hope you've benefited from this little clip on how to change a tyre. The new series, Tied As Money Saving Tips, will give you some confidence on how to do some basic maintenance and repairs that will save you money. Thanks for watching guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, give it a like, and also feel free to give it a comment. Till next time, we'll catch you later.